Hello, welcome back. We are going straight into Champion Select for Game 3. This will be...
On the blue side, we have Forzen Boys.
Another proud Newcastle name right there.
Yeah, oh my god.
Okay, we've had a little bit of a problem again, going back to the break screen. I have been reliably informed that Sejuani's ult is in fact not called Bowler, and whenever I say Bowler, it sounds like Ebola. So yeah, sorry about that, and I hope we don't have this problem again.
Yeah, that's probably not too much of a problem. No, we're good. Just a slight miscommunication, but that's okay.
I actually think this may have been entirely our fault this time, so we can't blame it on any of the people taking part.
Oh,
we are right back into Champion Select. We can't reasonably blame it on any of the people taking part.
Well, at least now you won't have to say Ebola. Say the bowler.
How about we just leave the Sejuani and the non-inclusion of Sejuani completely alone? Again, we're seeing a Lissandra ban.
They just don't like ice.
Glacial Prison? It's
Glacial
a powerful
Prison,
ability.
Glacial Prison, Frozen Tomb.
Yeah,
those ults.
Yeah, those ults.
Actually, quite strong. That's actually the first time we've seen Nidalee today. Nidalee's actually
neither been picked nor banned.
Yeah, of the games that we've been watching,
yeah.
Nidalee has just not been a factor. But she's really strong. I don't know why she hasn't been picked up by any of these teams. But anyway, probably should get back to who these teams are. On the blue side, we have Forzen Boys. Yes, another Newcastle. Brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you. And on the red side, we have UoN VGC again. They were playing in the last game. They actually did win that game. And as we finish off the bands with the Graves and the Jarvan, there's the Zed picked up first.
Yes.
They're probably going to want to have that very strong assassin.
Yeah, as everything we said in the last game applies again. So
yes.
He has the ability to assassinate mid lane. Very strong, very competitive. That split push swag that very few other mid laners can bring of the same level.
Absolutely.
Really powerful, really fun. Oh, and Orianna. I like this.
Orianna is actually... I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, Orianna is not directly a great counter to Zed. In fact, she's a little weak against him in all fairness.
Yeah.
But the
combo between the Orianna and the Mumu, the potential combo for the Orianna is pretty
great
damn strong.
And Orianna has one of those team fights that will make or break any engage.
Yeah, I hate to see the missed shockwaves. They're just painful.
Yeah, they make you very, very sad. They really do.
Anyway, on the side of Forzen Boys, we do have the Fiddlesticks picked up.
I'm going to assume that's a jungle Fiddlesticks. If it's a support Fiddlesticks, I'm going to be very surprised.
I'd be even more surprised because that would mean that Thresh would be going into a lane.
Could be an AD Thresh.
Oh, please don't. It probably will be a jungle, but we do see the Malphite again.
Yeah.
We have the good old Malphite and Mimic combo.
Yeah, and that's giving Orianna more people to put a ball on to get that ulti engaged.
That used to be a very strong combo that was...
They have done a little bit of tether breaking rewrite on Orianna's ball now, so you need to be careful. You've got to be halfway along the Unstoppable Force, but...
It's still a very strong...
We were talking about Equalizer on the car ride in here, and I think we're going to see Equalizer... Okay. Equalizer, Rumble as a whole is a really good counter to Malphite. In that you can apply that constant damage on him, slow him, even more so than he can slow you.
Yes.
Malphite brings a lot to a team fight, but an Equalizer actually brings more.
Absolutely.
And
it brings control and damage, like over time. Like a continual control and damage.
They have, however, moved away from it and are looking at a fit.
No,
okay, they just stopped setting us. And Draven synergizes surprisingly well with a Rumble.
Yeah.
Because standard side will often push them into Equalizer, and anything that keeps Draven in that range of the spinning axe where he can pick them up with that little bit of extra movement, very powerful.
Or you'll knock them out of it.
This is true. I like to think on the positive side of things. You're always more on the negative, but hey, we're fair.
That's okay. But so, as we finish off these team compositions, oh geez, VGC is going for that all in again.
Okay, that Tarek, it did work for them, kind of, last time.
Yeah.
I don't personally think it's going to work as well this time. There's more just upfront damage all over the place now.
Yeah,
but
like Tarek does bring innate armor. So going against that whole armor team, it did, that whole AD team, it did it kind of worked in their favor.
But there's a lot more magic damage now coming out of this team than there was the last one.
There's an incredible amount of damage, just full stop.
Yeah.
Like, the only role that is not bringing damage to the team is the support. But he brings a whole load of control and versatility that
it's
just
always
makes
been
up
the
for
thing that if Thresh does 0 damage, literally every one of his abilities did 0 damage, you'd still see him picked in professional play because of just the entire utility.
His kit is just too good to sort of pass up. Like, sure, he's not as strong as what he was when he first came out.
But he was silly at that point.
He was silly and borderline broken at that point.
We're talking Rengar level on release broken.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, because I never played Rengar.
It was fun when you played Rengar, but yeah, it was silly. But the point still stands, it doesn't matter that if Thresh does not bring any damage to this team, they have a Rumble in the top lane who can do a lot of damage over an entire team.
Yeah.
Fiddlesticks can do that also if he's given the right position, and also he can take dragons rather easily on his own.
And also you've got a surprising amount of snipe power as well, because Draven's ulti is surprisingly good at controlling those kind of dragon team fights. Because you throw it down and you control where they go. You've got even more of that in the form of Rundle, even more of that in the form of Thresh. Like, for the amount of damage they have, they also have a great deal of area denial.
But it's going to be hard to deny area to a team that has a Mumu and a Malphite.
Well, they just walk where they are. They're like the actual form of Mundo, where they walk where
they go where they please. But it's
the rest of the team has to survive around them.
Exactly. It's going to be hard to. It's going to be interesting to see how these team fights play out, because I think whoever has the vision and is able to make the play first is going to be able to apply a lot of damage, a lot of control onto the other team before a return comes in. Yeah.
Just a little technical note more on the stream side of things. We have been told that there is some buffering issues because we're streaming at 1080p. We're really sorry about that. However, we are recording this, and the VODs will be available on the Twitch channel. So if you are struggling to watch it, go back and watch them at a later date.
Absolutely. And now we're just waiting for the delay to finish up before we get into game.
Yes.
So
apparently one of the matchups in the last set of games went on for an hour and 6 minutes. That was Swole Team 6 versus Versace, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes, a long drawn out, apparently somewhat agonizing affair, according to some of my contacts in the outer webs.
Well, that happens when you get, if I'm assuming there are a lot of team comps like this, where it's just slapping against each other back and forth, that it's just, nothing's happening, it's just...
I actually think this is the first time we've seen diametrically opposed team comps.
Yes.
And I actually like that a lot more. It's going to be a far more dynamic game. You're going to be able to tell based on who gains the advantage when. For blue team, very mid, like we're talking level 8 to level 12, very, very strong. Purple team, powerful at 6. They're just going to unleash that damage at level 6.
Yeah, they're going to have, blue team, they're going to have to be very on top of their vision and be very wary of where the opposing team is.
Especially the top and the mid lane, because...
that combination is going to be really brutal if it's allowed to just unleash itself across the entire team.
Yeah.
They might just want to, Falls and Boys might just want to leave that Z split pushing the whole time, just to avoid having to deal with that massive wombo combo of a composition.
Yeah.
They should be able to farm reasonably well under tower. Probably not the best. It's not something that you'd probably rely on all that much.
Yeah.
But it is possible to
at
least deny towers from falling, while allowing a Z to push. To just have to avoid having that Amumu ult, the Malphite ult, the Orianna ult.
Yeah.
It's having all those three thrown in there at once if you are all grouped up together, that is just going to demolish you.
Yeah. I am talking about the skins in this game. You have two of my favourite skins actually in it. Rumble in the Jungle, which I love pina coladas in the morning. Fantastic skin. And I also love Coral Reef Malphite. I think it just looks so pretty.
I actually have the Rumble in the Jungle.
I'm not surprised for a second you have Rumble in the Jungle.
I also have the Super Galaxy Rumble.
You like Rumble a little too much, mate. I'm just saying this.
Oh.
Okay, I reckon we're probably going to see a line of scrimmage, very similar to what we've seen previously in all the games. Neither of these teams have what I'd really go for an invade comp, although Thresh and Taric are staples of most invade teams. Yeah, so we just had a photo taken of us, which is wonderful. Yay!
But yeah, like both of these junglers, they're not wanting to have any aggressive maneuvers played against them early on.
I would disagree more in the case of Fiddlesticks, because if Fiddlesticks gets into that right kind of disengage zone and does the life drain, camps like Raptors are basically just free health steroids to them. It takes them a while to kill them.
Oh, it actually got a stun onto Zed. He's
But
actually going to flash.
Zed is one of those champions that defensively suffers less from the loss of flash than many others.
But he is going into the enemy jungle.
He
He's
is,
taking
however,
the scenic
in
route.
the wrong jungle.
He's probably just going to try and execute.
He's hoping that the timeout will come for him and he will be allowed to execute. I actually don't think this is long enough.
No, it's long enough.
It was, fair enough.
It was pretty much just the stun that really
Right.
got onto him. But yeah, it's not the most optimal, having to burn your flash and give up an execute.
But at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
was the best of a bad job. He got caught very out of position.
Absolutely. And that's going to... There's no sort of gold transferred in there. I'll just...
You're doing your little bookkeeping.
Yeah, it just makes it easy to keep track of. There we go. But yeah, both starting on the bottom side of the map, just picking up probably their double buffs and then heading towards top.
I'm surprised by where Fiddlesticks is starting, because he effectively gets no advantage whatsoever from renovated golems. I can never say the name correctly.
The Krugs?
Yeah.
Those ones.
This is why you're here. For all the hard words like crunks.
Krugs. Yeah. Anyway, it's just going to be standard farming.
Because obviously they require on-hit things, and Fiddlesticks only hits things if he's doing something wrong in the jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. Or he's too low level to not have his drain up perpetually.
Now, see this matchup that we had a Malphite in the previous game against a Gnar? Very different against a Rumble. Rumble is already managing to cut damage into the shield and push him away from farming comfortably. It's a massive difference.
Yeah, having the magic damage and also just the constant damage. Rumble is able to apply a lot of pressure in the lane, as they do actually go in on the bottom lane.
Yeah, the mechanics
the hook is... Oh, they actually do land the hook.
Yeah.
They're going in, but the exhaust is blown, and they're not going to get the kill. Lucian does survive.
The mechanics from the Draven have been quite good, because most of the time they had double axes right up until that stun. I think that's maybe something we didn't factor into the matchup, the ability to hold Draven away from his axes with that stun.
Yeah.
Now we're probably going to see a gank in mid lane if this Zed overextends. They know the flash is down, he only has a shadow. It's enough, however.
Yeah, he held onto the shadow until he knew that
He needed it. Oh, he may
the
have
shadow
got a
has
little
been
cocky.
used. And the damage does land, but there's no follow-up from the
There's no support,
Oriana.
unfortunately.
And he's just able to get away without too much of a problem.
And he does his little victory dance in mid, saying he knows he's awesome. Ooh.
Ignite put down
It
onto
won't be enough, but
yeah. It does force him back, and it gives the Draven the free lane.
it also burns a lot of the mana from the Taric because he's forced to heal.
Absolutely.
Which means it will be... They're going to be able to push against this tower with very little fear.
Yeah.
As we were saying earlier, the
Rumble.
Scrap Shield, Hyper Shock Harpoon?
The harpoons, it's something harpoon
Yeah.
something.
Although he goes into an overheat at the wrong time and cops more tower hits than are really necessary.
Yeah. One of the good things about the Rumble versus Malphite matchup is that Rumble doesn't need mana.
No, not even
So
slightly.
he's able to just continuously cycle through spells, apply pressure, do this damage, and he's not losing any resource himself. Whereas
Yeah.
Malphite, if he wants to be able to trade or farm effectively in
He's
a way
having to use mana to do it.
Yeah, and he gets low with the mana really quickly. Oh, that goes in on the Orianna.
But the Orianna gets a nice ball placement and the shockwave. I'm sorry, not the shockwave. The Dissidence.
Yes, that
which holds him away from finishing her off.
Yeah, and Zed had already used the Ignite in a previous all-in, so he was unable to use that to kill. But that does mean that Zed is able to have that lane to himself, while Orianna has to go back and picks up another Doran's Ring and also a cloth armor to try and just at least survive the lane. It doesn't look like she's trying to make too much happen, she just wants to survive the lane and make her presence known towards the mid and late game.
Yeah, as we said, Zed is always going to have that stronger early game. In fact, the stronger laning, just full stop, than our Orianna is. But, at the same time, a really nice death sentence. Just this constant damage, but unfortunately it's not getting them kills.
Yeah, the heals from the
attack
is quite nice, but they're actually still getting the damage down, and the Flay is actually going to... Oh, they actually does get the first blood onto him.
But it dies to the Amumu bandage toss, but it doesn't matter. The kill was landed.
The first blood does go to the Draven, plus the cashing in of all the Adoration stacks is going to make him a little bit more wealthy than the Lucian.
Quite significantly, especially with that 15... bonus CS you also had.
Yeah, having the BF sword over the pickaxe is probably not going to be too nice to deal with.
Plus first blood is a lot of gold.
That is a lot of gold. And if we look at the gold totals, oh geez, 900 gold lead.
It is literally 900.
That is a very quick gold lead, and that is the entire gold lead, well, the majority of that gold lead for
between the whole
two
team,
teams.
Yeah. This is the thing about Draven. If he is that ultimate catalyzed quick, like Adoration works in a diminishing return kind of thing. You want to cash it in quickly, regularly, and early because everything just builds further on there. We're looking at literally a BF sword compared to a pickaxe. The two aren't even vaguely comparable. And top of that, we're talking about a champion with spinning axes that increases his auto attack.
Oh, look at the damage. They're actually going straight in, but the Lucian does not have the damage
even close.
Well, I think if the Taric was actually still around, able to stun up the Draven and fill up all in the mid lane, but there's no mana on the Orianna, and she does manage to live, but mainly because she was under tower and the Zed did not feel like trading a kill.
I think the Zed made the right decision there, although it's always got to hurt, like, for your pride when you drop an ulti on them as a Zed and have to leave before you do the damage.
But it does, he already applied a lot of pressure in the lane, he does have the advantage in it.
Yep.
It is sort of just trying to make that advantage even more and not trying to push it too far that he might end up giving it up.
Yeah.
Oh, the Equalizer used onto the Malphite. He might have to use his... He might have to use his... Oh, no, he doesn't. He's actually got him. Yes. He did have to burn Flash, but both Flashes were burned in order to do it.
I'm surprised that there was not a defensive ultimate there from
Malphite.
Malphite. It was an appropriate time to use one.
They do go in on the Mumu, but...
Mumu gets a rather unnecessary ignite applied to him, but the entire time there's just a dragon being stole by sneaky fiddlesticks.
The sneaky fiddlesticks. You never expect the sneaky fiddlesticks.
We've not seen fiddlesticks this game. He has just been contentedly sat back farming. But that first dragon, that is quite a lot of damage that's being added to his entire team. And he's now getting not only sneaky, he's getting brave and brazen because he's invading the jungle. Yeah.
Orianna really needs the blue buff for this matchup. If there's... the Crowstorm going through. Oh, they actually do get the kill with the Shuriken, and they are going to steal this blue away from the Orianna. She's not going to be able to get in, and that does go to the Fiddlesticks.
Although there may be damage happening here. I think the Fiddlesticks should be able to get away because he will be able to silence.
He should be able to. Yeah, he does. The backup from the Thresh is...
That Thresh is just too tanky and in the face now.
He is going to try and engage... Oh, the flash in from the Thresh. And they are going to get the death mark onto the Zed as he dances
around behind like some kind of disrespectful hooligan.
Yeah, that was a little bit of the...
That was a little bit BM. I'm never a big fan of that. But he has been forced into 3 longswords, so I don't really blame him for being a little bit salty.
Well, you finally got an ult to work.
Yes. It was interesting how aggressive they were about pursuing the Orianna and not the Lucian, because they had the option of either of them there. Both were dead if they picked it.
Yeah.
And I think it shows where they're focusing. They're trying to bring Zed very much into the throw.
Ooh, they go in on the Lucian and
stand
all
aside.
the
Is there an ult available? No.
Yeah, it's gone flying, but it's trying to come back. He's trying to angle it. He's trying to...
Yeah, he's trying to book it across, but it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Oh, my bad.
It didn't work, but it was a very good try there by
He
Lucian.
tried, but they're just going to grab the tower instead.
Yeah. That global... Oh, maybe not?
He's just denying minions to make sure that they have as little as possible. Zed... he is actually able to finish off that...
Ghostblade, yeah.
Ghostblade really quickly. That's going to be really painful to deal with.
Oh, we've got an equalizer onto the Ori. She avoids a lot of the damage in the slow, but she's been forced away from her own
The
tower.
shockwave is used only on the
Rumble, which isn't really a lot of the damage right now, although Amumu is coming in for the save.
They are going to get away from it.
Curse of Sandmono burns indispensably, but it doesn't matter at this point because he's kept 2 champions alive doing so.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it was a good call.
Yeah, it was an important ability to have, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. But having the Orianna alive is probably a bit better than having none of them alive.
Yes, given the option of champions dead over alive, you generally always take the champions alive option.
Usually, yes. Unless you get good trades out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, the Orianna ult was not really used, like, it wasn't put in the best position. It did pick up, like, it did sort of land onto the Rumble, but he wasn't the threat at the time.
Rumble wasn't able to apply that much damage.
He wasn't the threat at the time, but
they're
just going to they do pick up the Malphite, as he takes a lot of damage from the Draven, having had to build them up. Oh, the Shockwave not there, the Rumble is overheating.
But fine. He chose to use the final overheat on his scrap shield, a sensible thing given the amount of damage coming in.
The Zed did go in and actually get the kill onto the Malphite, but there was a return kill as he did go incredibly deep.
Very deep. I think he went past 3 people and a tower pretty much to get it done.
Yeah, there was a few people he went past.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that damage.
The spinning blades with that amount of damage is just doing chunky people. He's got an Infinity Edge already.
Yeah, that early.
This is the first game I think we've seen the AD carries come into the hyper carry role, and I think they're probably going to decide the game.
Yeah, those Thresh hooks landing is also pretty handy. Like being able to land those consistently.
Thresh has been very tidy in his play.
Oh,
an interesting Crow Storm.
It's a zoning Crow Storm.
Yeah.
Ooh. Actually, the Equalizer does actually pick him up in there. That snipe potential you're talking about.
Yes,
the long range
Equalizer snipe. You don't often see very many Equalizer actual kills, and it's kind of beautiful when you do. I love it.
You used to see it a lot more when it did like impact damage.
Yeah,
that was fun. But now you have to actually
damage over time. It's less of a party.
Yeah.
Maybe a tad fairer.
Nah, it's ruined Rumble.
We've come across this thing before, haven't we? Just like every champion's fun when it's OP.
You might as well just play Dota.
That was a remarkably long distance lantern. I'm quite impressed with that.
Yeah. Just the item disparity right now is just too much.
Yeah, we'll just look at the amount of gold difference. We've got 24,000 to 14,000.
Almost 10k at 13 minutes.
It's a little terrifying, and I think the Fiddlesticks may have gone AFK. Nope, he's just doing some hyper meta gaming.
It was a bait. It was trying to bait out the shockwave.
It successfully baited it out with a flash. That was sufficient. It did look like there was a slight disconnect there, but hopefully there won't be that many of them in the future.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the dead Orianna. But actually, they do turn around on him.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, the Taric point and click stun is really good for those sort of situations where he goes all in, but doesn't have the time to actually do enough damage and just dies.
Orianna played it cool as well, just applied the shield to her, then the distance rather than the other way round, and managed to survive in a very hostile team fight, or not team fight, gank.
Assassination attempt.
Yes.
Yes. But even with that, they're still very far behind, and with no towers down, that's where a lot of that money is coming from.
Yeah.
Like having 4 towers down, not only is there just and they're trying to steal the.
I so wish that they got that. That would have been a thing of beauty, but
that was close. Having a vision of that did.
He has the option to do those kind of plays because he knows he doesn't need that damage for a team fight.
Yeah, they've got more than enough damage. The Field 6 picking up a needlessly large rod. The Leandry's Torment finished on the Rumble, and it's just.
It's party, yeah. Like, there's no other word for it.
There's a hook onto the Mumu, and he is not taking... he does actually have to use the...
although it does very little damage, which is kind of...
Zed faceplants into a wall, trying to get over it. But that's okay, because
everybody's allowed to have a bad day.
No one saw that.
It's not like this is recorded and going on the internet and will never be taken down ever.
Absolutely. They are just going to pick up the dragon. The equalizer is used.
It does slow down the Taric, but not enough to allow a kill, I don't think. We got a tower destruction.
No, they just killed the dragon.
The dragon to get tower destruction buff.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was an interesting attempt at a gank. But yeah, they were not able to get too much out of it. They were too close to the tower to be able to...
is finally being able to free farm and push his wave a little bit, which is nice considering he is about 40 CS behind.
That's an interesting visual effect. The Thresh Shield.
Yeah.
It looked very bloody.
It is Blood Moon Festival Thresh something.
Oh, there goes the Zed. The Shockwave absolutely missing.
Flashed out of. And Draven is still applying heaps of damage and so much lifesteal.
Phil is able to drain off the
Malphite.
Malphite. Yeah, they're actually able to keep them alive as the Crowstorm comes in, and they do take out the Lucian, and the Amumu does actually survive. The hook does land on the
Orianna.
They do kill.
Completely buried in damage.
Yeah, and
that team fight was just so well played. They
absolutely
backed out. There was the right amount of peel for the AD carries. And because Fiddlesticks was being ignored, got the silence off on everybody, started draining away who they needed.
Yeah.
Just very nice, very neat. Well
team play. It was very good. Yeah, that was very good team play.
My understanding is this is one of the teams that's been together for a longer period of time, and it is kind of showing everybody knows what their jobs are and where their team is likely to be.
Yeah, this is probably one of the 2 teams that is probably favourites
to win. Yeah,
favourites to win this whole thing.
I see what you mean now. It does look like just a kind of
there's a lot more
blood.
Yeah. But yeah, this team, Force and Boys, they do look like rather well coordinated and very like a lot more polished than what we're seeing from some of the other teams, who probably have had a bit less.
There are some members of the other teams who individually have outperformed and done some incredible plays.
Absolutely,
it's that coming together as a team that Force and Boys is really excelling at. I feel
very much so. As they go back after taking that inhibitor, they're just being able to do pretty much whatever they want. It's almost looking like our first game of the day, but not as...
not as bad. There are 4 kills on.
Absolutely, and there's not like a 10 to Shyvana with the Triforce.
Yes, when your Shyvana is going around and picking up Triforces with something.
Or Miller is in a bad spot. He does actually have to use...
Those defensive mummy, Curseless Sad Mummies again.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to help. Oh, he actually does. Oh, he just gets knocked out by a croc.
That's pretty terrible. All he wanted was a friend.
And Rumble does get the double kill, just flashing over the wall onto the Malphite. But
and even that scrap shield is now a pretty large defensive thing because he's been able to build a surprising amount of AP really for Rumble, who generally.
Well, they do build some AP.
Yeah, but they're not. They don't.
It's more defensive AP rather than anything. They aren't. Well, the Shockwave does land on
Shockwave, but it doesn't really help.
Yeah, it's just not. It has 0 follow up, and she's just taking way too much damage on her. Is that just doing a bit of slapping onto the Lucian? The Amumu is just not really working out. They're not able to line up a good team fight with the Curse of Sad Mummy. Every single one has been defensive, and is just not been able to get enough gold to get tanky enough to just sit in these fights.
He's always about half a screen away from his closest ally, and that closest ally is generally in full flight as well. So,
ooh, and there goes the Malphite. I mean, those were the 2 that probably deal going into this game probably deal on the lower end of the damage, and they were able to take out the Malphite without too much problem.
Yeah. We're going to see an inhibitor go down in a couple seconds unless something rather bizarre happens.
Yeah, but with all the ults down from...
it's not going to be a finish, I don't think, but
it's probably just going to be...
a tower.
There's
a minion wave coming up top. They could
Yeah.
capitalize on it if they play it right, but
they've still got another couple of towers to go on the bottom side, so they could just pull back and just play it safe. They probably don't want to deal with that massive wombo under the enemy Nexus towers. But it looks like they are going to just go for the Nexus towers, but they do kind of back off when Amumu starts to try and make some sort of aggressive maneuvers.
Well, this time Amumu actually had 2 members of his team backing up. Okay, they're not the damage parts, but they are there, and that's the difference between that kind of forced retreat and all the other times that Amumu has been forced to use Sad Mummy defensively.
Oh,
the equalizer, a beautiful thing, although a nice counter ult from Malphite.
Oh, they do actually get a lot of them with those ult combos, but there's just not enough damage and follow-up. They're just able...
Fiddlesticks got very low, but Crowstorm applies so much damage that it just keeps him alive. Draven managed to lifesteal through the pain. Yeah,
it's just... They got way too far behind, way too early, and they were just not able to follow up on the crowd control that they have. I mean, it was good in theory that they have this giant team-coordinated wombo.
Death ball.
But if it doesn't work, you're just sitting there with a whole bunch of weak champions individually. But they are going to have to be forced back because we're only 20.
They stayed way too long, and the death time is a real
it's still only 21 minutes into this game. The death times aren't that large,
But we are at naked inhib stage, and it's Draven and.
Draven can hit things pretty hard.
Yes, and quickly, too.
Yeah. He actually just picks up another BF sword because why not just deal more damage?
If you've got one best friend sword, why not have another best friend sword? You can be a terrible, damaging threesome of pain.
Exactly. Because why not?
Yes. And they're struggling even a little to clear their base of normal minions. The super minions hadn't even arrived yet.
Yeah, we saw this in the first game between Scrim Club and
when we see that really
Versace,
early set of super minions coming out, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, you see, even the Lucian, who, 80 carries are usually probably the better ones to deal with super minions, he's struggling really bad with those.
He's not losing health because he has, but it is taking him a long time of just, come on, hitting him in the face.
He's just slapping him, it's like, this is not working.
Why you got so much armor?
Yeah. One inhibitor did come back, but that's probably not going to save them as that goes in onto the Orianna. The Deathmark has been used, does dodge a lot of the damage and just manages to get out.
But the click's done from the turret, but the shadow is going to give him enough distance to get away. I don't know why he's regressing.
Yeah, he knows that the rest of the team, he's probably just...
He's going to bounce against the Taric, even with just health items.
Yeah, he's just trying to...
hold them in position while the rest of the team moves down bot and takes towers.
Absolutely.
You're probably 100% correct.
Either that or was just trying to BM a little bit, which is also probably a little bit
He is
correct.
a Zed. It is the champion you go to if you wish to BM.
That or Revenue.
Yeah, the pub stomps.
Absolutely. And even though there's 2 Frozen Hearts already on the side of VGC, it is far too little, far too late.
Again, I don't understand the build for Frozen Hearts because you don't have any attack speed centric champions.
The Shockwave does come in, lands on 2, but it's just not enough.
Curse of the Sad Mummy does land on the Thresh and the Draven. Can he lifesteal through it again? The answer is yes.
Oh, well, Draven's...
Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. It was the Fiddlesticks, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it's just... The disjointed initiation was just not enough, and they are just going to be able to knock down that Nexus kind of easily. It was a bit of a...
The last fight was a little bit of a non-event compared to a few of the others. Although there was some good use of ultimates again.
Yeah, it was pretty much a composition. The matchup was pretty much just a skill matchup, which went in favor of the Forzen Boys. They had the more superior mechanical skill. They were able to get the advantage early, and they were just able to.
Yeah. The Thresh and the Draven, for me, were the standout ones. They worked very well together.
Absolutely.
They knew where they were going to do. Thresh had 100% confidence of when he was going to land those hooks. I'm surprised he didn't do the second activation and get
Go
close
all the way in, yeah.
with that death sentence as often as I was expecting, but obviously had his reasons and it worked, so...
It worked for him.
Yeah.
And they were also able to negate the effectiveness of that giant wombo.
Yeah, very much so.
They played around it really well. They didn't group up. They didn't... Like, the most effective ult from Malphite was onto an already pretty much dead
it
Zed.
secured that
Yeah.
Zed kill rather than allowing him to possibly get out with a
and it was
Shadow.
also onto the Draven, but he was so far ahead already that he was able to just sort of kite his way back. And that was when the Fiddlesticks came in and just came in over the top and just wrecked the rest of the team. It was just... They needed... VGC needed that combo to work on the majority of Falls and Boys, and it was just not able to happen. And that's pretty much how the majority of that game went. It's just the Draven got big, wasn't able to get taken out by the combo, and then they just shoved in.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to have a short break before our fourth game, which will be between...
I believe...
Here for the memes and Swole Team 6. I'll admit that I'm a little bit biased. Swole Team 6 are my boys and I want them to win. And, you know, they've got a better name than Here for the memes. So it's just a thing.
Both
We'll be back shortly. Have a good time.